it was on, it was working, it was there was nuclear. Coal was as well, but coal isn't the largest percentage of their portfolio. It's nuclear.
So and you put it to me.
It's what kept. Yeah.
You put it to me this way, that it seems like there's two camps in the power debate. One camp is all about climate. We gotta get rid of all the fossil fuels. We gotta have zero emissions. And the other camp are people like me who want to keep our kids alive and keep them warm in winter. And reliability and cost is our big thing. And you put it to me so simply. You said there's the overlap between those two areas. If you put that Venn diagram together, is nuclear power. It is zero emissions, which they want. It is reliable and affordable, which I want. It is the only answer. And in fact, the if-then statement goes like this. If we're going to cut our emissions, then there is no other choice but building nuclear power plants.
That's exactly it. And so what we learned, going down to North Carolina, said when they were having this debate in 2021, said, listen, we aren't going to argue your policy outcome of emission, what they called carbon neutrality. We're not going to go because we're going to lose. They've already decided that's what they want the outcome to be. So if that's the outcome you want, then nuclear power is your only answer. And that's what they've done. And that's the trajectory that North Carolina is on, is that they're going to go even more into nuclear. And the nice thing is they don't have to shut down their coal plants right now. So ratepayers don't have to pay for that. It can be over time. And that was the whole argument we made here in Colorado was, listen, if your thing is emissions, if that's your policy outcome, and that clearly is the outcome that the Colorado legislature and the governor want. Originally, the governor actually wants 100% wind, solar, and batteries, but that's a whole other beast. But if emissions are really the issue, then nuclear is your only answer. And it's a good answer.
But here's the political problem.
Nuclear is great.
Amy Cook from Independence Institute. Here's the problem. Colorado has this mandate that we have to have 100% clean, zero emissions energy. But nuclear power is not legally considered clean. That the only thing that the Colorado bureaucrats will accept as clean energy is some water, small-scale water dams, wind, and solar. So if nuclear is dirty, right up there with coal, I guess this is a non-starter because we can never build plants, and even if we did, we'd have to close them down because of the law.
Yeah, exactly. They wouldn't be allowed because they were considered, I love this, a cleaner resource. They weren't considered a clean resource, a cleaner, even though the definition of clean in Colorado revolves around emissions. So same.
So let me see if I got this. Let me see how I got this right, because only government could do this. The only thing we will consider clean is something that has zero emissions. Therefore, the technology that truly has zero emissions, we're going to call dirty. Yeah, well, that's the gospel of what I call the mega churches of environmentalism, Sierra Club, and they'll tell you that it's not clean. Rocky Mountain Institute, Amory Lovins, they'll tell you that it's not clean, but it is. It's the cleanest, most reliable, most affordable resource that we have, and it's safe. So it's safe, clean, reliable, and affordable. And so Colorado didn't have that in its statute. So I mean, this wasn't going to end well for anyone. And so no, it would end well for Xcel Energy, who the laws allowed to make a killing off of our misery.
Well, true, except for there's one thing with that. When push comes to shove, monopoly utilities are in the business of reliability. And what Xcel wants to do is overbuild in hopes that nothing goes wrong and then import stuff in, import power in. But it wasn't going, there was no way they were going to get to 100% wind, solar, and battery. You just can't do it.
It's impossible. It's impossible.
No, it's impossible.
All right, so
there's no place that does it.
For the sake of time, let me speed up the story a bit. Independence Institute has been on a tear for the last decade, led by your efforts, to tell legislators the reality that they've just killed us. They are literally going to kill us. And the only option to save us will be nuclear power. And if they don't change the law to allow for nuclear power to be considered clean energy, deaths of who knows how many people will be on their hands. What happened this week?
Well, this week, and a big thank you to Bob Rankin, who was formerly in the state Senate, and now Larry Liston, who have been on the relentless pursuit of getting nuclear included in Colorado's definition of clean power. So we owe them a great deal of gratitude. But this week, Larry Liston, third time's a charm, and it passed House, now it passed the Senate, and is on its way to the governor's desk, and that is that nuclear will be considered a clean resource in the state of Colorado. What it does is it sends a signal that Colorado is now open for nuclear investment. And I've got to say this, what a difference 1 year and 2 senators makes. Chris Hansen isn't at the state Senate, anti-nuclear, and Kevin Priola, anti-nuclear. They were sort of on the leading edge of the anti-nuclear.
They were anti-energy. Let's be honest. They're not just anti. They wanted people to suffer, and they wanted people to try to live off of wind and solar and die. And for me, let me sing the praises of what we do at Independence Institute. We take crazy ideas that no one takes seriously, and we turn them into something that is in the realm of possibility and then becomes inevitable. And with your hard work, with the work of Jake Fogelman at our shop, and the great legislators that you've been working with, including now some Democrats, we now have a bill going to the governor's desk for signature that says, yes, we're open for business here with nuclear energy in Colorado. If you want to pursue it, we will make it happen. And this would not have happened except for Independence Institute's long-term strategic work to take these ideas that you've been working on for a decade, and instead of investing in the latest flighty ballot initiative or politician that's not going to win, we invest in these ideas to make them reality. And it's just a real testament to your work, Amy.
Well, I appreciate that, but there are a lot of folks that did a lot of hard work on this to make it a reality. And the good news is it's bipartisan, clearly, overwhelmingly bipartisan.
Well, and it has to be when you're in the super minority.
Yeah. But you know what? Good ideas. And that's the thing. And there are folks who recognize that. That vote out of the state Senate was 29-5. 5 voted against it. 29 voted in favor of it. Now, think about this. Last year, that same bill lost.
Amazing. Amazing what
just
consistent pressure put in the right places and a few changes make. Hey, I know you're busy. You gotta run someplace. Let's grab a call if we can. Let's bring in Neil from Denver. Neil, welcome. You're with Jon Caldara and Amy Cook.
Well, first off, thank you to the Independence Institute for doing great work and championing causes that go beyond common sense and there should be bedrock. So, bully to you, as they say.
Well, thank you so very much.
The next thing is, I can't agree more with what your staffer has done, and I'm actually one of the few people that, starting last year, actually called the legislature and said, hey, this stuff that you're doing about, green energy is crazy, and we need nuclear energy because you're disrupting the grid. And I live in Denver, and I've already had brownouts where I see it going down, and I've said, this is coming. We need to kind of prepare for this. So thank you for doing this, and I have just a couple of thoughts, and maybe they're on your website. One, if you can have a cheat sheet for us lay people that aren't in your position that says, here are the talking points that you should say to the the legislature, like here's the 7 things that are going to make a difference. That would be great. Something that I just did it based on what I knew. And then the second thing is keep up the pressure and tell us how we should contact them and what your action points are. For example, I think wind is one of the dumbest, I won't say the vernacular I would use about wind, but wind is one of the dumbest things that we could even propose in a state that relies on tourism and the vistas. So I'm going to hang up, let you comment. I know you're short on time, and thank you for your work. And
thank you so much. Appreciate it. Go
John,
right for it. We've only got a minute.
Okay, there's stupid and then there's wind stupid. So he's 100% right. Also, reliability is a huge issue in Denver. He's spot on with that. So nuclear energy hopefully helps, but it's going to take time. Get a generator. Last thing, thank you to the Colorado Nuclear Alliance for the work we all did together. Phenomenal organization as well.
Hey, I know you need to run and catch a flight, so I'm going to let you go. Amy, thank you so much. Back after this. Got 15 minutes to the top. I'm Jon Caldara. I want to thank Amy Cook for joining us. By the way, Amy does this incredible podcast. Go to Independence Institute. Just go to thinkfreedom.org. Thinkfreedom.org. If you're into energy policy, she does something called Power Gab. And they talk to everyone involved in the power world here in Colorado. It is a localized show on energy issues and environmental issues just for Colorado. It's called Power Gab. Got something here with on some of our text. We try to electrify everything in the 70s. Yeah, I mean, think about it. We're going to have electric water heat, electric home heat. That's going to cost a fortune. Do you remember in the 70s? I remember that. They started putting in, we were going to have free electric. St. Vrain nuclear power plant was going to give us free electric. It never worked. It was a first hydrogen-cooled electric power or nuclear power plant. It didn't work. And so everybody had these electric radiator heaters on the floors. And it's the most expensive way to heat anything. But that's where we're going. Now, by the way, people say, what are we going to do with all the electric or the nuclear waste? Believe it or not, the technology has changed so that the fuel used in new nuclear reactors will be the old spent fuel from old reactors. These old reactors, the fuel has like 90% capacity. They just didn't know how to get out the rest. And so we're going to get nuclear power. We're going to reduce the amount of nuclear waste, and if you want to electrify everything, it's the only way it's going to happen. It's going to be great. Always in the wings and the bullpen this time, the one and only, the lovely and talented, the very leggy Pete Boyles. Hey, I gotta ask you, how's the ticker doing?
You know, I was with my surgeon yesterday, Jeffrey Park, and did three additional tests. Everything is green lights, one-way streets.
It's amazing. Well, first of all, thanks for letting me sit in for you because, so if you need another heart attack or something, go for it because I need the extra hours and I really I appreciate my kids appreciated the extra food.
Sure.
So if you're not feeling well at all,
it's
just
okay. Tell me now.
Go ahead and take the day off.
That thing with the Burger King trip?
Yeah, here, I brought you a box of cookies here, my friends. Just dig in.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing great. So, all right, so we both had our weird scares with heart stuff.
Yeah.
Mine was a heart attack that I never even thought about it. All signs, I mean, my cholesterol wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
Silent killer.
Yeah. And since your heart has been completely rewired, this is just twice. The idea that they can put in a new valve and not crack open your chest to do it. It's amazing.
I get to write a column, and I'm writing that right now about these three men who 25 years ago, and maybe this is significant, but we covered George W. Bush's first inaugural. And I came back, and great heart surgeon, Dr. Miller, and wonderful cardiologist, Richard Flanagan. But I had a really bad time in D.C. I came home, they said, you need bypass surgery, a quintuple. John?
That, by the way, if I understand that, what that means, it means they have to take like artery material out of your thighs and out of your arms and crack open your chest, pull out your arteries and put in new stuff.
Stop your heart, use the heart-lung machine. According to my son, I was in the OR for 6.5, almost 7 hours. And I'm told by talking to some people like Nelson Prager and guys that were around that they would remove the aortic valve and replace it with a pig valve.
Right.
And they opened your chest.
And did this happen to you?
No.
I mean, you were...
No, I had bypass. I was, in essence, they take you down to kill you, and then they can do the repair work, and then they bring you back to life. And you have a thing called a heart-lung machine. Well, and I thought, man, can I do that again? They said, oh, no, that's not what happens. I mean, for what's behind the curtain in the new car, How long do you think it took them to replace my heart valve?
2 hours.
47 minutes.
Wow.
And so I'm writing about the guys right now, and they're
what
a team.
So what was weird about me here? I'll show you right there. That little spot there.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
That saved my life. I'm pointing to a little quarter-inch scar on my wrist.
Yeah.
They go up. They give you angioplasty. They use a balloon to open up your artery, and then they put in a stent so that it doesn't close in. And I wake up, and I'm like, oh, thanks, guys. I feel better now.
Yeah.
I got to go back to work. They're like, no, you're staying here for a while. But the idea that they can put in a valve and bring it into the same way, do they take out the old valve, or do they?
Old valve stays there. My aortic heart valve was calcified. And it
Like the
wouldn't
rest
shut.
of you, by the way.
Absolutely petrified. But the valve wouldn't close. And I said, do you ever have a car door that wouldn't close? I said, most of my young adulthood.
Still.
And we'd run, slam the door, then take clothesline,
No, I use a piece of string. That's how I kept it.
Clothesline.
Yeah.
And I said, well, sure. They said, that's your heart valve. So the wire, the line, the balloon goes up and into your aorta, opens up, the valves come out, new valve ends come out. Your old heart valve calcified crushes them, and that holds them in place. And the next time it opens, the balloon goes back out. The valve now is 100% effective.
And it's an artificial valve.
Yeah, I have pictures of it.
We're bionic, man. We are bionic.
I'm already crossed up this way. I have a pacemaker. I wear eyeglasses.
Wear glasses. I got orthotics. I got a stent in here. We're the Terminator.
And you know what?
How long did it take for you to feel like yourself afterwards?
I really had some issues post because of the anesthesia and a little rocky, but.
The anesthesia is what gets you. You can't pee. You can't. It takes days and days to
knock a man out. But remember, they're taking you as close to death as they can and not kill you. And the anesthesiologist was a listener. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was,
so how emotionally did it scare you? I mean, that's just. We're going to go in. We're going to do this. We're going to do that.
I think at 81. I'm less afraid than I was when the first time, because it's like, okay, I've been through it. I know what it's like. But then it turned out we're not even going to do it that way. We're going to go, up. They went up on both insides of your groin, and they went up once, take a look, come back out. Okay, now next week we're going to go up and we're going to do the Mongambo. So
the best part for me was I looked down, some guys shaving my crotch, and
I had a woman do that.
How much extra did you have to pay for that? I would have gotten that.
She just came into big. She said, "I just work here," and I said,
"I said I didn't ask for a Brazilian."
That's right.
I said, if I wake up and this looks like Hitler's mustache, I will find you. And I'm like, and then they said, "Oh, if we can't get through your wrist, we go through that artery." I didn't have time because I had this chest pain. I didn't know what was going on, and so I'm laying there, and I asked the guy, am I going to survive this? And he said, yeah.
Sure. That's what we do.
You should. I'm like, I should? I'm like, can you do better than that?
Well, Dr. Prager, who has been my guru, and he's Chuck Bonnewell's guru, and he said, this is our bread and butter. This is what we do. And the surgeons themselves are very young men, much younger than I am, and they are... they're the man.
But still, there's a risk you ain't waking up.
Nah.
What do you mean, nah?
Oh, no. I mean, at this point.
And I said, I'm starting to freak out here. He said, don't worry. We're going to take care of that.
Yeah.
And by taking care of that, it was, let's give him his drugs, and then I'm gone.
Oh, when they shoot it in the thing. And
you're just...
I told him, I said, I want that Michael Jackson drug. The first time they went up and looked just to make sure everything was squared away, I said, and they said, and there's a name for it, and something propofol or something like that.
Yeah.
And I said, I just knew it as the Michael Jackson drug because I've had it before, and I thought, I know why Michael liked that drug.
Yeah. Well, and also, I think I got fentanyl. I think it was in part of the anesthesia or something. It's like, well, all right. Now I'm starting to.
Now I
understand why they're all strung out on the streets of Denver. They've all got heart conditions. That's all.
You're going to stay with me in the first part of the show.
I'd like to, if you wouldn't mind. Yeah,
oh, please,
yeah.
I want you.
I want to finish up on this. How's the prognosis looking? Because I worry about you.
I'm here, ain't I? Remember that? I'm still standing. You didn't knock me down, Ray.
Yeah, I'm still standing, Ray.
I'm still standing, Ray. You didn't knock me down, Ray.
Yeah. Pete Boyles, I'm looking forward to what you got planned this morning. It's going to be great. Hey, I'm Jon Caldara. Check out Independence Institute. Go to thinkfreedom.org. That's thinkfreedom.org. Sign up for our newsletter at the very least. And whatever you do, keep it here on KNU.